Hey guys, welcome back for another video. What we're going to be doing today is we'll be taking a look at our 2025 to 2026 Arizona State Sun Devils football team. We're going to completely break down the rosters, look at their schedule, and try to predict the outcome for every single game. We'll be going game by game and looking at what Vegas predicts of their schedule as of right now. I'm not saying they're going to win these games. I'm not saying they're going to lose these games. It's what does Vegas think early preseason-wise, which games they're going to win, lose, and which games might be toss-ups. We have to look over this entire roster. This is one of the teams that came out of nowhere last season, had a great electrifying season. Props to Kenny Dillingham. He went from 3 wins to 11 wins last season. Big 12 competitive team. They were lighting things on fire. Yes, they lost Cam Scatterbo. That is a massive loss. That was a Heisman finalist. Some people thought he should have won the Heisman. One of the best running backs in the nation. But what are they going to do without him going forward? Yes, they return Sam Levitt, one of the best quarterbacks. Some people have him as the number 2 to 3 guy in the Heisman finalist position right now, early preseason-wise. And they're getting Tyson back at the wide receiver position. That was that number 1 target. He had 1,100 yards last season. They did not have him in the playoffs, but yet they still put up a heck of a fight. They beat Texas practically. There were some questionable calls there at the end, but it shows you just how high these ceilings can be. This could be the team where they take that next step, where they potentially make another competitive run at the national championship. They're going to have McLean at the wide receiver position, Moss, Tyson back. They're going to have Brown taking over at the running back position. And with Sam Levitt back, this team, the sky is the ceiling right now. Kenny Dillingham showed just how competitive this team can be. But first things first, though, guys, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be going over every team this offseason, breaking them down. And once the season starts, we go over our predictions and best bets for every single matchup, every single weekend. So make sure you're liked and subscribed. If you have any comments, by all means, drop them below. Do you agree, disagree, and let me know down in the comments. I will make sure that I respond to every single one of them if you want to sign up for one of our member teams. And I would definitely appreciate it. But right now, we're going to be looking at this Arizona State football team. Kenny Dillingham, year 3. Everyone always says year 3 is the big year. You got to put up or you got to shut up. We had 3 wins year 1. We had 11 wins year 2. What's going to happen year 3? But the main thing here is, though, everybody's going to be looking at Arizona State now. No one's going to be sleeping on this team. Everyone's going to take this team serious. If you are on their schedule, teams will be bringing out their A game just to play you. So how does Arizona State respond? We know that Kalen Deboer, he's starting to recruit well. He's working that portal. He's bringing in a lot of talent, bringing in a lot of high 3, 4-star players, helping get some depth on this team. And now that you have the national spotlight on you, where do you go going forward when you have that schedule up there on the board? When you see the blue star, that's the games that, as of right now, Vegas predicts that the Sun Devils are going to win that game. The red star is, as of right now, Vegas predicts they're going to lose it. And the yellow is the unknown. That is the toss-up games. Like I said, I'm not saying they're going to win or lose it, but as of right now, with the early preseason, there's a lot of unknowns here with replacing a lot of starters here. So there's some things that we just don't know about these teams yet. We need to see them on the field, not just spring football. You can't take spring football for what it is because a lot of players play their best in spring football. Well, we want to actually see what happens once the regular season begins. Let's not waste any more time, though. Let's start breaking down this roster. Let's start looking at all these games game by game. They get to open the season at home Saturday, August 30th. They'll be welcoming the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks. Let's just call it what it is. This game is going to be a beatdown. It's going to be a blowout. They're going to curb stomp them game 1. But the main thing you want for these cupcake games, get some of your new players in their position. Get them warmed up so once you get into conference play, you are a well-oiled machine at that point. The main thing here is they're going to be a heavy favorite here, probably a 20 to 30-point win. They're going to start out the season 1-0. And this next game is actually a pretty interesting matchup. Saturday, September 6th, you have the Sun Devils on the road going to the SEC, Big 12 versus SEC. They're going to be going to Davis-Wade Stadium, playing at the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Don't forget, the Sun Devils did beat this team last year, but this is year 2 under Jeff Lebby. He had to completely flip this roster, had to completely rebrand this team in his own image. He's brought in a lot of transfer portal players, including at the quarterback position. What kind of steps do they take going forward year 2 under Jeff Lebby? Are we going to see massive improvements? A lot of people, especially Vegas, they don't see the Bulldogs being very good this season. I have Temple beating this team, being the Vegas favorite, getting an SEC road win, but I do think this game is probably going to be close first half. You are going to have the big day jitters, your first big game of the season at an SEC school. It's going to be sold out. They're going to be loud. They want to beat you as well because it's a big out-of-conference game, Power 4. But in the end, you're going to win. You're going to own the second half. You're going to be the Vegas favorite. You're going to start out the regular season 2-0 at this point. You can't complain about that. And this was a surprisingly close game last season. September 13th is a Saturday. The Texas State Bobcats coming to Arizona. This is the way you want to start out a regular season. 3 gimme games, basically. The opportunity to start out 3-0. They're going to be heavy favorites here, but surprisingly, this game last year was a really close win. ASU won that one 31-28. I don't think it's going to be that close this year. They were a younger team last season. They learned a lot from where they were last season. They'll be prepared for this game. They'll be ready to roll. They're going to win this one. They're going to be easy favorites, starting out the season 3-0. Now we're getting into conference play. This is where things start to get a lot tougher. You're going to be at the Baylor Bears Saturday, September 20th. Do not scoff at this. Do not roll your eyes. Baylor's actually not a bad team. I'm pretty sure they finished last season on a 6-game winning streak. Finished last year 8-5. Dave Aranda had a lot of pressure on him last season. He was on the hot seat. They rebounded. The defense started playing a lot better. The offense started playing a lot better. This is a team coming in here now with some national prominence as an underdog potentially to make a competitive run for that Big 12 title. And you're playing in Waco, Texas at their house. They're going to be a well-positioned team here. They're going to make a run at you. This is where I have Vegas marking this game as a toss-up right now. I'm not saying that ASU is going to lose this game. I'm just saying both teams are very talented teams. Both teams have a lot of hype this season coming into this game. It's really just going to be who plays the best football on this day. We want to first see these teams. This is week 4. We haven't seen that much of these new rosters playing, so all the variables we don't know yet. It's going to be a toss-up, but if you force me to pick who's going to win this as of right now, I would go with ASU still getting the win, starting out the season 4-0. Now, after that game, you have another tough in-conference game. You have the TCU Horned Frogs visiting Arizona. This is the team that had a high-flying offense, a top 10 passing team in the nation last season. They're going to have a lot of veteran players, especially at the quarterback position. He was slinging it up. You have Sonny Dykes calling plays, one of the better offensive minds in football. He runs the air raid system. They're going to be slinging it up and down the field. This game's going to put a lot of pressure on ASU and their linebacker specifically. You're going to have to get speed to cover space as quick as possible. But Arizona State, this is one of those games to me. You have Baylor, you have TCU, where you could potentially get upset, not caught looking at these games, not caught taking them serious, just a bad day, and you could lose one or both of these games. I have it marked as a toss-up right now. But again, just like the Baylor game, if you force me to pick a team, I would pick the Sun Devils to win this game, and I would pick them to win it probably 14 to 17 points, but I think it's going to be extremely close all the way down to the fourth quarter, and that's where Arizona State blows it up and they pull away. But you have to take TCU and that offense serious here. This is one of those underdog type games. You got to keep your eye on it. Then after that, a little bit of a tough run the last 2 games in conference schedule-wise, you have an off week Saturday, October 4th, and you definitely need it. You are starting to see some things that are working, starting to see some things that you need to work on. This is where you want to buy game around the midpoint of the season as you're getting deeper into conference play because the schedule is really starting to kick off here. And then Saturday, October 11th at the Utah Utes. Even though Utah's offense has been a complete joke for the last 5 years, Cam Rising is finally gone. They could finally move on to another quarterback, but you know they're going to have a top 20 defense. You know they're going to have one of the best, most physical, disciplined teams in the nation. Whenever you're playing in Salt Lake City, it's a very tough game. I don't care who you are. Tough environment. This could be a night game. It's going to be rough. It's going to be physical. People are going to be bruised up and beat up after this game. I, for some reason, think there's going to be an extremely close game. This is also one of those games you got to keep your eye on here because Utah's always physical. They're always tough. They always have good special teams. They always have a great defense. However, I do think ASU is going to have just enough playmakers. They're going to have the quarterback. He's a mobile quarterback, Sam Levitt, with the Heisman contention this season. He can win this game with his arm, but he's a mobile quarterback. He's not a running quarterback, but he's someone who can scramble, extend plays while also always keeping his eyes looking down the field. He's probably going to run for probably about 500 to 700 yards this season. That's a difference maker there. That's definitely going to help the run game, especially without Cam Scadaboo. With this aggressive defense, with this front seven they're playing here, that's where you need Sam Levitt and his legs. I have Arizona State being favored, winning a really close one here, like a 24-20 type game. And this game is an extremely interesting one. You're going to have Texas Tech, who's probably going to be ranked here, bringing in the number 2 transfer portal class in the nation, the quarterbacks, the running backs, the wide receiver. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to have a much improved defense over last season. Some people are picking them as an underdog to outright win the Big 12 conference. This is ASU. This is one of your chances to reverse the hallmark foundational Big 12 teams Saturday, October 18th. And it's probably going to be a ranked versus ranked matchup. This is going to be a really fun one. If you have the opportunity to watch that, whether you're a Sun Devils fan, Red Raiders fan, make sure to watch this game. Texas Tech, Their offense is going to score points. They're going to score points in bunches. They gave up a lot of points last year. Every game was a shootout. ASU has the offense to compete with the Red Raiders offense. But how improved will the Texas Tech defense be from last season when it was just straight awful? It can't get any worse. They brought in a lot of transfer portal players, so they're obviously going to be better. If they are just average, they have a shot to win the Big 12 championship. I have this game as a toss-up right now. Again, it's one of those games that you force me to pick. If I had to force to put money on it right now, I'm going with the Sun Devils because they're a more proven commodity right now, and they have the known elite quarterback guy checked off here. Texas Tech, though, they're the unknown right now. They're kind of that sexy thing that no one really knows that much about. We want to see them on the field first before we can fully judge them, because when you flip a roster through the transfer portal, sometimes it hits. Think what happened to Florida State 2 years ago. Sometimes it doesn't. Think what happened to Florida State last year. Right now, though, this game's a toss-up. And then after that, you need an easy game. That was a rough in-conference schedule. You have Saturday, October 25th, the Houston Cougars. This game can go two ways. Arizona State can come in here kind of beat up and battered, and they can drop this game, get caught off guard, or they could be coming in on a roll here. I have it more going towards them on a roll here. They're going to be favored here. They're going to beat Houston. They're going to beat them handedly. And then why not a rematch of the Big 12 championship from last season? Saturday, November 1st, another ranked-on-ranked matchup at the Iowa State Cyclones. This game is in Ames, Iowa. It is going to be crazy. This is one of those games that could potentially be a college game day football game. It's going to be fun. It's going to be sold out. It's going to be a night game. It's going to be loud. Matt Campbell's team, great team last season. They had a very good offense. They had a good defense. Matt Campbell, disciplined, front seven talent. They're going to want to win this game in the trenches. But Arizona State also showed last season versus Texas, they can battle you out in the trenches. They can hold up. They can compete with you. This is going to be a fun game to match no matter who you're rooting for. If you're just a college football game fan, this is the type of game that you want your eyes on when the Saturday matchup comes up. Looking at the talent here, both teams are talented. You have to give a slight edge, obviously, to ASU. But Matt Campbell and what he can do with a three-star team, he always overperforms because he develops his players. But Kenny Dillingham is also showing that he's doing that at Arizona State as well. I don't think you could put any team as a favorite here. Big 12 matchup. Arizona State won this game last year. So Iowa State, they want revenge. They have this game circled. There's the revenge factor. But ASU also knows that they can beat Iowa State on any given day. So they know they can win this game. Who's going to pull it out in the end? It's going to be a toss-up. It's practically a 50-50 pick-em right now. Then thank God you have a bye week Saturday, November 8th. You need some time to rest, get your players rested. You are in the final stretch of the season. Keep your eye focused on the prize, and that is making it back to the Big 12 championship. You have Rich Rodriguez coming back to West Virginia Saturday, November 15th. The West Virginia Mountaineers coming to Arizona. Rich Rodriguez, one of the best offensive minds in recent college football history. He did help adapt and change college football along with Chip Kelly, but those days might have been numbered. It was a long time ago, practically 2 decades ago, when he revamped that West Virginia team. Now he's coming back for the second round. Sometimes the second round doesn't work out quite like the first round did, but it's going to take him some time. He has to flip this roster. He has to get his players for his skill set, for his scheme, for his system, and that doesn't always happen in 1 year. So to me, that project's probably going to take a couple years. I'm going to go with ASU being large favorites here. The game might be close the first quarter, but I think ASU is ultimately going to dominate and win by a large margin. They'll be the biggest favorite. And here you have another team. You have Deion Sanders. Whenever you have that matchup, obviously there's going to be the spotlight on you. There's going to be a lot of news going on. You have Shedeur Sanders gone, Travis Hunter gone. This is where you also get into the unknown variables. We don't know what Colorado is going to look like right now. They're going to have some new defensive players. They had actually a pretty good defensive line last season. They were top 3 in the Big 12 in sacks, quarterback pressures, tackle for a loss. But what's going to happen on offense with the loss of Sanders, with the loss of Hunter? Yes, they have a pretty deep wide receiver core. They can make some plays. They have a young 5-star quarterback coming in, but how is he going to adapt first year? We don't have the full-time starter name yet. No matter who's there, there's going to be a spotlight on this game. This team's probably going to be able to score a lot of points, but how is Arizona State going to respond in Boulder, Colorado? You know, because it's Colorado, this game's going to be on national television as well. I think Arizona State's going to be the favorite team. I think they're going to win it, and I think they're going to own the second half. And again, they'll be a favorite. They'll probably be like a 6 or 7 point favorite this game. And then we have our in-state rival, the Arizona Wildcats, Friday, November 28th. Arizona State, they're going to be at home. This was a team that very much underperformed the expectations from last season. They lost McMillan. They lost a lot of pieces from last year's team. Yes, they tried to make a little bit of a competitive run second half of last year, but it was way too late. Arizona State, you were going to be enormous favorites this game. In my opinion, you're going to win it. You're going to win it by a lot. So when you're looking at this, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blue stars. I'm saying 8 games that you should be the favorites in. If you get 10 wins, you're going to make the playoffs. Then I have 4 games marked as toss-ups. If you just split that and win 2 of those games, you finish the regular season 10-2 with a shot at the Big 12 championship and a shot to make the playoffs. I would take those odds all day long. That's not bad because you could easily also win 3 or even 4 of those toss-up games. There might be an upset game along the way, but no matter what, I have you competing in the Big 12 championship down to the end, which means you have a shot to make the playoffs again and maybe make up for where you fell short last season. Guys, that's just our quick predictions looking at the schedule for the 25-26 Arizona State Sun Devils. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any comments, do you agree, disagree, drop them below. I will make sure to respond to every single one of them. If you want to join one of our member teams, just click the link down pinned in the comments. You can sign up there. I would appreciate it, and thank you for watching.